Welcome to Armstrong Installation Training Wet Room System. For the best possible result, the substrate should be level, smooth and clean, free of parting or curing compounds, grease or paint. It should be dry to a minimum of 5.5% moisture or 70% relative humidity. All materials and adhesives should be acclimatized on site for at least 24 hours. Check all walls and penetrations to ensure they are all clean, dust-free, properly fixed and straight. Check the floor to ensure it is acceptable to install flooring and the substrate falls to the drain. It's a good idea to coat exposed plaster with a wall primer to reduce absorbency. Mark the height of the coving around the walls and strike a chalk line between the marks. Contact adhesives help with difficult installations as they offer instant grab, which makes installing extrusions such as cove fillet or skirting easier. There are two types available, acrylic-based and solvent-based. For this demonstration, we will use Armstrong AC100, which is a two-part acrylic emulsion. Cove fillet will form the base to support our vinyl as it is coved up the wall. Coat the underside of the fillet with AC100 Part A. Coat the wall and floor with Part B, then allow them to become dry to touch. Begin installing the cove fillet, firmly pressing down to ensure good contact between both parts of the adhesive. By fitting the first piece tightly against the side wall and then shaping the second piece to fit, we ensure a solid base for our vinyl. This means the corner can stand up to the rigours of welding as well as future use. Cut the external corner on a 45-degree angle. Cut the second piece to fit tightly, then cut or sand the ridge to continue the smooth radius around the corner. This will help the vinyl to sit neatly on the floor once installed. Fit a piece of scribing paper and cut it so it falls about 10 mm short of the cove fillet. Cut neatly around the drain. Fix the paper to the floor with some adhesive tape. The external corner in our floor will need a separate piece to be installed. First, using a set of dividers, mark a point a little over halfway up the cove fillet. Be sure to scribe a check mark on the paper first to ensure the dividers are set to the same width when we come to marking the vinyl. Cut a piece of scrap vinyl to the shape of a T. The dimensions are not important, but it's a good idea to mark the front so it's always used the same way up. Place the top of the T piece along the chalk line. Push it tightly into the cove and mark the paper around the bottom. Push it tightly into the internal corner and mark again. For the second part of the internal corner, Use a scrap piece of vinyl as a spacer to make fitting easier. Continue marking around the room. Using a straight edge, place 3 or 4 marks around the drain, allowing plenty of overlap for a clamped down type. Mark across the front of the sheet and include a check mark. This will help when fitting the sheet later. Now place the paper on our piece of vinyl, ensuring enough overlap for the coving. Begin transferring the marks from the paper to the sheet by placing the T-piece on the paper exactly on the marks. Remember to mark down the side of the T-piece for our internal corners. Continue marking around the room. Check the width of your dividers and swing 2 intersecting arcs to find the bottom point of our external corner. Mark across the front of the sheet, being sure to include the check mark. Transfer the marks for the drain. Before removing the paper, double check to ensure all marks have been transferred. Using straight edges and a knife, join all the marks together neatly. To make our external V-corner, join the mark we made with the arcs to the intersecting point on the top of the cove. Using a hook blade, neatly cut the sheet along the lines. Using a set of dividers, join the marks around the drain, then cut the circle out. Lay the sheet face down and coat the cove areas only with contact adhesive. Brush contact onto the walls, finishing at the top of the cove fillet. For wet area floors, use ARMSTRONG PU100 adhesive, which is a two-part polyurethane adhesive that once cured isn't affected by water. Mix thoroughly the entire contents of the two containers together using a drill with a small paddle. Using Armstrong's S891 steel trowel, spread the adhesive on both the floor and the cove fillet. Use a small spatula type spreader to apply adhesive to the drain and the cove fillet. Polyurethane adhesive requires no tack-up time, so is ready for the sheet to be installed straight away. Carefully place the sheet into position by lining up the check marks. It's a good idea to use some scrap vinyl to separate the sheet from the wall where the contact adhesive might grab. Use a 45 kilo roller to ensure good transfer of adhesive to the back of the sheet. When fitting the vinyl into the coves, it's important to ensure it sits snugly against the cove fillet and the wall. Using a hot air gun will help soften the vinyl, making correct fitting easier. Use a wet cloth to help push the vinyl into the cove and a hand roller along the wall. Using heat also helps activate the adhesive, making a stronger bond. When using a clamp down type drain, heat the vinyl to make fitting easier. Screw the clamp firmly down while the vinyl is still warm. Roll around the edge of the drain to ensure the vinyl is firmly fixed to the substrate. For our external corner, use a scrap piece of vinyl to measure the height and cut a piece of sheet. Scribe a 45-degree angle on one side of the sheet. Fit it into place and mark the other side. At the bottom of the V, scribe a small arc to compensate for the shape of the cove fillet. Fit the piece into place and mark the external corner with a pencil. Use a grooving tool or similar to groove about half the thickness of the vinyl out. Apply contact adhesive and fit the piece. The wall vinyl we use for this installation is ARMSTRONG Wall Flex, which is 1.25mm thick. When fixing to 2mm floor vinyl, we use a wedge fillet to compensate and make welding easier and more hygienic. Fit the wedge fillet using contact adhesive. When measuring and marking the walls for the sheet, consider the visual impact and position joins accordingly. To help make hanging the wall vinyl easier, you can use contact adhesive on the top and bottom of the sheet. This will help hold the sheet in place while the adhesive cures. For the field, use an acrylic sheet vinyl adhesive like ARMSTRONG SV200 and a 0.8mm notch trowel to minimise show-through. Allow the adhesive sufficient time to set up before hanging the sheet. Heat and roll the top to ensure good bond with the contact adhesive. Use a vinyl wall roller on the sheet to remove air bubbles, flatten the notches and enable good adhesive transfer from wall to sheet. Using your recess scribers set with 0.5mm gap, mark and cut the join between wall and sheet vinyl. A final heat and roll of all edges of the wall vinyl will ensure that welding will be trouble-free. For internal and external corners, using contact adhesive will make the job much easier. Heat the vinyl and using a hand roller, gradually roll the sheet around the corner, ensuring a good bond the whole way around. For internal corners, heat the sheet and fold backwards while it is pliable. Push the vinyl tightly into the corner and then press in with a stair tool or a corner roller. This gives us a very tight finish with no voids behind which may crack in the future. Once the wall vinyl is finished and had at least 24 hours to dry, lightly groove the wall joins with a sharp triangle groover and the floors with a U or P groover. Weld the flat floor joins with a normal 5mm speed tip and trim in 2 passes using a trim plate and half moon knife. For the wall sheet, use an Armstrong S65 speed tip or a speed tip that has a small airflow channel like the one shown. This will help protect the edges of the vinyl from burning and give us a smaller, neater finish by minimizing flare. Trim in 2 passes. For welding coving, it's a good idea to have a separate speed tip with a nose bent like the one shown. This gives the rod full support through the curves. To trim the coving, use trimming tools such as X-Acto hobby knives that have both flat and round blades. Heating the blades before use will help make the trimming easier. Cleaning and maintaining of the walls should need no more than a small amount of ARMSTRONG once and done neutral detergent and a clean cloth. Cleaning and maintaining of the floor is dependent on the amount of foot traffic that is expected and the amount of soiling. Starting with some once and done, a bucket and a mop give the floor a thorough clean. While the floor is wet, it's a good idea to brush over with a soft bristled broom. This will help release any dirt that has built up in the embossing in the vinyl. Stubborn dirt can be removed with the aid of a deck scrubber. A final mop with neutral detergent will leave you with a clean, hygienic finish. A wet scrub using a polishing machine fitted with a white bassine brush will make larger areas a breeze to clean. Following these installation and maintenance recommendations carefully will give you a beautiful trouble-free floor for many years to come.